Today, we could call it Jensen in the AI comments. I mean, his earnings statement, folks, is absolutely phenomenal. He talked about their sales being, yes, off the charts, cloud GPUs sold out. Of course, if that wasn't enough, he added for the haters, AI is going everywhere, doing everything all at once. Now, of course, in addition to sounding like a Johnny Cash song, those words were music to the ears of investors. Even though gains have been erased from today, the fundamental story of this just gets better and better and better. The legend of naysayers, the legion of naysayers, rather, have been out in force today, talking doom and gloom again. Here's the thing, folks. We used to celebrate this stuff, like Wired, for instance. They used to celebrate technology. I think it's politics that has a lot of people thinking differently about this. In fact, they suggest that AI is an existential threat. Of course, not to be outdone, AOC this week has weighed in on AI, calling it an economic and psychological threat and blaming it for helping the Trump economy of all things. And forget about all of the factories, the data centers, the opportunities, the financial freedom that's riding on the coattails of AI. This is the kind of stuff people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. But once again, it's the masters of the universe who were caught off sides. They may be doing a little better by now, but look at this bet. I want to tell you why things have been the way they've been, why the news has been the way it's been. So you've got the hedge funds who went extremely short, right? And then, of course, they get their friends in the financial media all day long, pounding for the last few weeks, pounding and pounding, fanning the fear of flames. And, listen, you set up the stage for a session like today. You want it to work in your favor. But I got to tell you, it might have been working too well, at least coming into the session, because NVIDIA is normally, the shares normally, before they report are usually up. This time they were down, the exact opposite. But the most important thing is they're always volatile until about 30 days later. 10 to 30 days later, that's the period they start to shake out. Think about what people are betting against. Just for a moment, let's put this in perspective. So quarterly revenues for NVIDIA, not long ago, April 2023, were $7 billion. This last quarter, $57 billion. Try to fathom that for me. Just think about that in your mind, how a company can grow that well. The only thing you could argue is that maybe it doesn't get better than this. And while everyone is sort of, fretting about all of this, my next guest has become even more bullish. In fact, she was one of the first tech analysts to get on the NVIDIA bandwagon. I think she started it back when there were even more skeptics than there are today. So I want to bring in IO Fund, their lead tech analyst, Beth Kindig. And Beth, first I just want to talk about the quarter. Just how surprised were you? Because I know you're optimistic, but it feels like they checked every box.
Yeah, I love talking NVIDIA, Charles, especially today. I cover this stock very, very closely, and I continue to be surprised, whether it's the margins expanding, the large free cash flow margin. Most importantly, there was sequential growth of 25% at this scale. That's very surprising. The more that people talk about an AI bubble, I would counter that. I'd say the bigger concern is the opportunity cost of not investing in AI. If I showed you this company today, if it was a brand new company today that I showed you, you'd say, wow, this is an incredible company.
What do you think about the market, the stock reversing? It was up huge and it's pulling back a little bit here. What do you make of that?
I see it as a buying opportunity. The facts are on the table. This company has extremely strong fundamentals. It's a picture perfect report last night. When the market is down on these really strong earnings reports, that is an opportunity to me. That is the moment that there can be alpha. When you're jumping on a bandwagon, that's when things are risky. But when you can spot these strong earnings reports with these quality companies, I'll take it lower any day.
So in the meantime, Jensen, it looks like he had a little bit of fun with this. So he forcefully pushed back on detractors, including Michael Burry. But of course, there's still some people are saying, well, things like cloud credits are worrisome. Just your thoughts, okay? I think the utilization part of this thing may have been put to bed, but there's still a few lingering concerns and people saying that there's still some hidden issues that haven't been resolved.
Yeah, the argument I like to make is AI is early stage technology, much earlier than the public markets is used to. Typically, you incubate this at the venture capital stage. So the point being, Charles, is we will get into a big stage here around monetization. We haven't even gotten there yet to see AI truly monetize. We have not gotten to see how AI will affect profitability. So the naysayers are really jumping in a little too early. where investors have this opportunity to get in before uh, revenue starts to accelerate, before profits start to expand. Because by the time that that happens, these companies will all be trading much, much higher. So I like having that edge myself.
You know, Beth, you put out a report and you say NVIDIA is going to get to a $20 trillion market cap. And by the way, not over the next decade or so. You're saying by 2030. Walk us through how this happens.
Yes, I put out a prediction for a 20 trillion market cap by the end of this decade. That's a 36% CAGR over the next 5 years. Charles, yesterday they put up 25% quarter over quarter growth. They guided to 15% quarter over quarter growth in 2 quarters. I already met my CAGR I need for the next year. It's really that consistency that NVIDIA keeps putting up that is making these numbers possible. When I put out the 20 trillion market cap, I wanted to give people a heads up that if you do the math, this company is headed higher for a long time. And I see it hitting that 20 trillion by the end of the decade.
Of course, a lot of this also means that the hyperscalers still have to put a lot of money in. And you know, all those things still have to be to click. And when it comes to NVIDIA, you also say offense is the best defense with respect to this roadmap. But I want to talk about these big spenders, if you will, and these big bets. Today, Micron is getting hit pretty good. The CEO said they're going to spend more. Meta, that stock is getting absolutely annihilated since they put out their numbers and Wall Street thinks they're spending too much. So you've got one stock that's come down dramatically, another one that's under a lot of pressure. What is it about that? What is it that seems to be bothering a lot of folks about this level of spending that either A, it can't be sustained, or B, it's too much?
Yeah, big tech is clearly spending hundreds of billions of dollars. And we're not at the point yet where we have seen that ROI, where the revenue and the profits justify that spend. The argument I'm making, Charles, is we will get there. And I actually think by the time you and I talk this time next year, some of those numbers are going to be moving in ways not currently in analyst estimates.
Right.
For example, when it comes to Meta, their profitability, keep an eye on their EPS growth over the next year. That's when things get very, very interesting. Right here, yes, they're spending a lot. I think the ROI comes very soon.
All right. And by the way, we're going to have the booker put you down for next year at the same time. We'll make it a date right now. Before I let you go, it's more than just, it's just more than NVIDIA and the names that we talk about a lot. I like that you bring fresh names out. A-Labs, I saw this stock make a big move yesterday. Some major firm put a buy on it. I only have less than a minute, so I want to ask about Credo, because this is, at one point, the #1 stock in the Russell 2000. It might still be, but many people have never heard of it.
Yeah, Credo supplies NVIDIA with something called active electric cables. This is the copper wiring, the networking around these large systems. And if you strip out NVIDIA's networking growth last night, it grew 162%. Networking is the best spot to invest right now, because as these rack scale architectures continue to grow, we went from 8 GPUs to 72 GPUs. It's really a networking problem that must be solved. Credo is centered right in the middle of it. We got that awesome metric last night with 162% growth from NVIDIA's networking segment. That is a big number coming out of NVIDIA last night.
Yeah, we got the chart up here. Credo's made a monster move, and to your point, it might just be getting going. Beth, thank you so much. Appreciate your time, your expertise on this. And we'll see you a few times before next year, but we've got a date for next year, too. All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.